Hi everybody, it's Richard here again. Welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to talk about number 2 hit singles. I was originally going to do a video on some of my favourite number 1 hit singles, but I thought maybe a little bit of a cop-out, maybe a little bit too easy. So I thought, okay, I'll see and have a look to see what singles I have that got no higher than number 2 and what would be my favourites. A couple of rules. The first one is that I'm not going to include more than one single by any given artist. So for example, TRex had 4 number 2 hit singles. I can only include one, and I am including one as well. And also I must have these on 7-inch, so I'm not going to show you an album which has got a number 2 hit single on it. I have to actually show you the single, although some of the singles I'm showing you are actually reissues or like old gold collectible types, but they're still 7-inch singles. Now, with people around my age, if you ask them, name me the best ever single that got to number 2, should have been number 1, and most people, well, a good percentage of people would say Ultravox's Vienna, and I quite agree with that as well. I think it should have been a number 1. I'm not going to show that because I don't have that on single. Another one could be the Sex Pistols' God Save the Queen. That actually should have been number 1 because it had the seals for it, but the BBC in their wisdom kept it at number 2 because of the subject matter being 1977 and the Queen's Silver Jubilee anniversary. I made a complete balls of that. Okay, I'm not editing, so I shall go forward. Okay, there's about 20 odd singles here that I'm going to show, some in picture sleeve, some in not, but all that I really do like. And when I was trying to pick these out, I realised myself I am a bit of a pop music fan, but then I thought to myself, of course these are all popular because they got to number 2. Alright, so the first one up is from 1989, and this is The Beautiful South, and this is Song for Whoever. This is The Beautiful South's first single after the demise of the Housemartins. This is a clever song. The words of this are almost Clever Dick song. You know, they're extremely clever. A song about writing songs about girls, about making money out of it. I think it's really, really good, and it's a really, really beautiful song as well. But the lyrics are very, very clever. So that was kept off the number 1 by Soul to Soul, Back to Life, Back to Reality. I think this is better. Many would disagree actually, because a lot of people like that. Going into, released in 1980 into 81 is Adam and the Ants, Ant Music. This was their second top 10. It was Dog Eat Dog was the single that broke them in the UK. This here was more accessible than Dog Eat Dog, although I probably prefer Dog Eat Dog myself. But yeah, this is a great single. I bought this back in the day. This was kept off the top by John Lennon's Imagine at the start of 1981, which, okay, you can't really complain about. But if there's ever a number 1, this deserves to be number 1. Okay, now going back to 1963, and we have Please Please Me by the Beatles. Now, they only had 2 other number 2s, I believe, excluding Free as a Bird, by the way. It was Let It Be and The Strawberry Fields. I like this. I'm not a huge big Please Please Me album fan, I will totally admit that, and this for me is the best song off that album. I really do like this, and this was the start of Beatlemania, and then when From Me to You came out, everything just went whoa. Especially in the UK, I think it was 6 months later or 8 months later that they made it in America. This was kept off by, I believe, Frank Ifields' Wayward Wind, which I haven't got a clue, I've never heard of it. And it was also kept off by Cliff Richard's Summer Holiday, which I do quite like, but no, this was the one that deserved, I believe, to be number 1. 20 years later, jumping up to 1983, and one of the Beatles makes an appearance in this girl's video, and this is Tracey Ullman's version of They Don't Know, a version of Kirsty MacColl's They Don't Know. I actually prefer this version to Kirsty MacColl's, partially because I heard this first. This is a great song. This is a really good, strong song. It's her second single after her hit Breakaway. Also, in the middle section here, when you hear the baby bit, that's actually Kirsty MacColl. That's actually lifted from the Kirsty MacColl single. So, in fact, Kirsty actually features in this. This was kept off the top by Karma Chameleon, which was the biggest selling single of '83. This is better. Okay, I do like me a bit of Quo, and this is What You're Proposing from 1980, and I just think this is great. Okay, a lot of their songs sound the same, but I thought this was a little bit different. I loved this at the time. I still love this now. Yeah, it's extremely catchy. It really is. And it was kept off the top by Barbra Streisand's Woman in Love. It's a better song, Woman in Love, to be honest with you, but I still love this. This is Status Quo, What You're Proposing. Going back to 1979, and we have Cool for Cats by Squeeze. Yes, this was their second decent sized single. This the first decent hit was Take Me I'm Yours. I'm not too sure what number it got to. I think it was about 16, 15 or something. Then they released it was Bang Bang, which did next to nothing, and then this was their number 2 hit single from early '79. Yeah, I like this. I like the Chris Difford vocal on it as a change from Glenn Tilbrook. Even though Take Me I'm Yours is, it was basically the both of them together. The first time I heard this song actually was on the Kenny Everett video show, and I loved it. So this was kept off the top by Art Garfunkel's Bright Eyes. No, I prefer this. Okay, don't say I don't have different musical tastes. But this is from 1980, and I love this. This is a dance classic. This is Lips Inc. Funky Town. Yeah, this was a hit also in the 80s for somebody else. Pseudo Echo, I think that's what you call them. Yeah, I love this. This is, again, a really, really danceable toe-tapping song. It was kept off the top by Don McLean's Crying, which is a good version, but for pop music, I think this should have been number 1. This is great. This is one of these great oldies. I think it's an American one, obviously, with that horrible big hole in the middle. So this is Lips Inc. Okay, Paul McCartney, 1984, No More Lonely Nights. Oh, this is a wonderful song. This is, I just love the period from 82 to 84 of McCartney. I really do. I've made that point clear in another video. This just adds to that tug of war, Pipes of Peace for me. I love the song. Brilliant, brilliant ballad. Kept off the top by Wham's Freedom, which I do like, but this is a classic. This should have been number 1. Going back to 1979, and we have Blondie's Dreaming from her Eat to the Beat album, the first single to be released off it, and my favourite Blondie song of all time, I think, is The drums in this by Clem Burke are awesome. This was kept off the top by The Police's Message in a Bottle, which is also another awesome song. So I would have liked to switch about. I would have liked both of them to have got to number 1 because they're both brilliant singles. Doesn't Debbie Harry just look so damn cool? Okay, Mr. Bowie now, and the one I'm choosing is from 1986, and this is Absolute Beginners, and this is one of his top 5 best songs of the 80s. This is great. The extended full version on the 12-inch and the soundtrack is even better. Great song from a crap film. Yeah, this was kept off the top disgustingly by Cliff Richard and the Young Ones, Living Doll. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to have novelty records, but when they keep such classics off the top, it's just, you feel it's not fair. Okay, another pop classic from the same year and from around the same time is the Bangles' Manic Monday, written by Prince under the pseudonym of Christopher, from their second album In a Different Light. Just a great pop song. It really is a really good sing-along pop song. And this was kept off the top, I believe, by Diana Ross's Chain Reaction, which was written by the Bee Gees. Yeah, I like both of them, to be honest with you, but I think I would have a preference for Manic Monday. As you see, most of these are the 80s, so there is some 70s coming, but 1981, and we have Altered Images, Happy Birthday. This is from their first album of the same name. This, however, is not representative of that album. This actually fits better into their second album, Pinky Blue. Their first album, Happy Birthday, is extremely dark and produced by, is it Steve Severin? Is that his name, from Susie and the Banshees? And actually, Altered Images around that time were supporting Susie and the Banshees in concert, and it obviously rubbed off on them whenever they're recording the first album, because it is quite dark apart from this one song. So when people bought the album after loving this, they probably thought, oh my god, what is this? The album is nothing compared to the single, but the album is still very good. So this is from 1981, and this was kept off by two songs. First, it was kept off by the dreadful Dave Stewart and Barbara Gaskins' It's My Party, and the Police's Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. Okay, next up, between 79 and 80, we have ABBA's I Have a Dream. Okay, this may be a little bit syrupy, but I think this is an absolutely fantastic song, and it definitely should have been #1. And to think that this was the 4th single from the Voulez-Vous album, and it still reached the #2 position. And there was even another single released before this, which wasn't a brand new song, Gimme Gimme Gimme, to promote their second greatest hits, and they still went back to Voulez-Vous, picked this up, and it still got to #2, even though all ABBA fans would have had that album. I love this. It is syrupy, as I say, but it's absolutely beautiful. This was kept off the top by Another Brick in the Wall by the Pink Floyd, obviously, and I love it as well, but I still think this should have reached the top. Up to 1983 again, and we have, excuse the picture sleeve, I don't know why I've got something on that, Sweet Dreams by Eurythmics. This was their 4th single from their second album. The first 3 singles flopped. This became a big hit, and then their 3rd single, which was Love Is a Stranger, was re-released and also became a big hit. This is a synth classic. This is when Eurythmics were really, really good, before they got extremely mainstream and rather tedious with Be Yourself Tonight. And okay, they had flashes after that, because Savage was quite good and Bits of Revenge were quite good, but this, from their album of the same name, and Touch, were brilliant. And unfortunately it was Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart that kept this off the #1. Go back to 1973, and we have The Sweet, and this is Ballroom Blitz. This is a Mike Chin, Nick Chapman classic. Brilliant with the countdown. Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah. Mike? Okay, alright fellas, let's go. Brilliant song. I think this was it featured in Wayne's World or one of those films anyway, but brilliant classic Sweet material. This was kept off the chart, unfortunately again, by the Simon Park Orchestra doing Eye Level, the theme to Van der Valk. Disgrace. 72 going into 73, and this is a German copy of this. I've got the British copy as well. This is Slade's Goodbye to Jane. This is, I love this. the pounding drums intro. This is as sing-along as you'll get with Slade. If you ever want to see a live performance, check YouTube for Slade doing this around 1981 or so, live. And the energy they put into this song is absolutely amazing. The sweat is absolutely flying off Dave Hill and Jim Lee. They're really stomping about, and it's a great performance. I love the song. Featured on their Slade album, which featured a #1 hit, Mama We're All Crazy Now. So this is great #2 single. Okay, TRex from 1970 going into... Oh, I forgot to tell you, My Ding-a-Ling kept Goodbye to Jane off the top. Okay, TRex, Ride a White Swan, 1970 going into 1971. This is like a Chuck Berry riff, but gently done. That's the way. Mark Bolan in those days was gentle, and this is beautiful. This was a slow burner. This took forever to climb the charts, and really it set the groundwork for TRex to say, I love it. Great song. Wasn't actually on any album, although it was on the TRex album released in America. So this is Ride a White Swan, and this was kept off the top by Clive Dunn's Grandad. 1971 again, and we have, this is a reissue from '84. This is the Rolling Stones' Brown Sugar. I was never overly keen on Brown Sugar when I first heard it, when I was getting into Stones, but it's one of those songs that has grown and grown and grown, and I never now get sick of it, and I absolutely love it. And they do play it in every single concert, I believe, still. Great song, great opening riff. The Yeah 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 Woo bit by Jagger, you just can't help but sing it. Love it. Not the last great Stones single. The last great Stones single for me is Under Cover of the Night. I think I've mentioned that before. Didn't even make the top 10, never mind #2. Yeah, this is fantastic from '71. This was kept off the top by Knock 3 Times by Dawn. Okay, 3 extra special ones to finish with. 1976, Somebody to Love by Queen. Brilliant song. This always remains in the shadow of Bohemian Rhapsody. I think it's every bit as good. The vocals in this are absolutely awesome. It's more of a gospel-y type song. It's the lead single from Day of the Races. Absolutely love it. This was kept off the top by Shwari Wari's Under the Moon of Love. You know, you don't know how it could happen, but it does. Although I do quite like the Shwari Wari's Under the Moon of Love, and there's nothing wrong with it. But whenever you get a classic like that to be kept off the top, there's no justice. So this is from 1976. 1972, and Elton John's Rocket Man. I think this is probably his best ever single. I think it's fantastic. This was kept off the top by, it was kept off the top actually by T-Rex's Metal Guru, which I also love and I think it's fantastic. But if I'm being honest with myself, I prefer this. So I do. I just love this. This is from his Honky Chateau album, which featured Honky Cat, another single I love, but it didn't even break the top 30. Yeah, again, this is, I think, a staple of Elton's live performance. I know he did it at Live Aid, and it was one of the highlights of his set there. Okay, so whenever I said earlier about being the best #2 song to get to #2 and not reach #1, and most people would say Ultravox Vienna, and I have nothing. I kind of agree with that, but my choice, and this would be my personal choice, and it's this one, Elvis Costello's Oliver's Army. This is pop music at its finest. I know it does borrow a bit from ABBA. The piano part on it does sound a little bit like Dancing Queen, but this is about 2.5 minutes or so of absolute perfection. It's a brilliant song. It reminds me of my youth, going to the youth club on a Saturday night. and people used to bring in their records, and this was always there, and this got played God knows how many times, and I love it. This was kept off the top by the Bee Gees' Tragedy, which is not a bad song, it's okay. And it was also kept off the top by Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive. But funny enough, in a way, I'm sort of glad this didn't get to number one, because it makes it sound a little bit cooler. Maybe if it had got to number one, it would have been way, way overplayed. And this remains as fresh as anything. So this would be probably my favourite number 2 hit single of all time. Okay, so that's my list of singles I have that are number 2. I have other ones as well, but those are probably the best ones I picked out. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to make another video and talk to you well soon. Okay, all the best. Bye bye.